Good morning, Park Center Community Church. Happy Mother's Day. Welcome. I feel like we'll get that order of service thing right by the time we get back to regular service. So anyway, that's on me. Welcome to Park Center Community Church. As I said, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Hope you guys enjoyed the treats that came yesterday. Moms, if you didn't get one, don't feel left out. It's on the way. It'll come today. But I know there was a lot of chatter on the group chat last night, back and forth between the moms about the wonderful treats. Just wanted to show how much we love each and every one of you and what you mean to us as a collective family. So hope you really enjoyed it. Happy Mother's Day. Unfortunately, it's not the Mother's Day that we had hoped it would be. Had hoped that by now we would be back together meeting. We could see everyone in person and get to spend the day with your families. But right now, safety is paramount, and so we continue on. Stay strong, everyone. It's coming. So just a few brief announcements before we begin. As always, check us out on the web, parkcenter.church. If you've missed a message, want to go back in this time where we've got a lot of time at home, you want to go back and check out some old messages. They're all on there. You can do that. So check that out at parkcenter.church. You can sign up to give online. It can be a one-time offering, a recurring offering. And thank you so much to you guys who have stepped up and have given online so that we could get the equipment necessary for all the stuff that we're doing here, through all the different platforms that we want to be on online while we're sequestered from one another. So thank you so much for that. You can sign up to do that on our website. Our Wednesday night study, we postponed last week. I apologize for that, but we plan on picking that up this Wednesday at 7 here on Zoom. Week 3 of Is Genesis History. It's really a fascinating study. We've had some great conversation. So I encourage you guys to join if you haven't checked that out yet. And the full-length movie Is Genesis History is available on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, even if you're not joining in, I encourage you, go over to YouTube, search that up, and you'll find the movie. Check that out. It's a very interesting. I'll just leave it at that. It's very interesting. Right Now Media. We are partnered up with Right Now Media. It's free for you guys. Again, with all this time we've got on our hands, if you guys are not investing some time in study, you're blowing it. So anyhow, sign up for Right Now Media. It's free. Just if you don't have it, get us your email. We'll get the invite sent out to you. And they have as the screen says, it's just a gigantic library of video studies on any subject you could want to study. So we really encourage you guys to do that. We've got the time, so let's use it wisely. I think that's it. I think we have another video, so check this out.
Coming soon. Only one hero can save her family and prevent disaster.
Mom, we're gonna be late for school!
I don't think so.
Whoa.
Experience the phenomenon that critics are calling inspiring.
Mom, I can't find number 17!
Come on, Billy! Dig deep!
A lot of fun. And pure genius.
Mom, where's my phone?
Table.
Keys.
Mudroom.
Dragon Man?
Under the couch between the monkey and the flip-flop.
How does she do that?
Created by God to demonstrate his love with grace, elegance, and poise.
have you seen my butane torch?
So happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Moms are pretty epic, aren't they? This morning, I have great news for all of you. I will not be preaching a message about moms. I won't be preaching about how moms are hero makers or pulling a unique mom from Scripture to share about her experience and then trying to apply it to our lives today. As I've done in the past many times, and as I believe we've all experienced, any of us who have been in church long enough know pastor's going to come up with something unique on Mother's Day. And instead of preparing a message for today, this morning I've decided that you will be delivering the message. I know you didn't prep, so don't freak out. But you actually did prep. You just didn't know it. You see, for your entire life, you've had a mom who has set an example for you. Maybe it was your biological mom. Maybe it was your spiritual mom. Maybe it was an adopted mom or an older woman in your life who has set a godly example for you of what this idea of mom should be and the way God designed it to be. Maybe you've gone through the heartbreak of losing your mom. But either way, you are prepared to deliver this message this morning. And so I'm excited to present the family of Park Center Community Church for this Mother's Day. And so the first thing is, for those of you on Zoom, when you are looking to share, just make sure that you unmute yourself. I'll try to control it to the best of my ability on my end, but work with me, unmute yourself as we go ahead and have you present this epic Mother's Day message. So the first question that I would like for you to answer and present, and again, let's keep it brief so everybody has an opportunity to share. We would like everybody to be able to share, and even those who are watching, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Periscope or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching from, or from our website, please feel free to comment in answers as well. And so our first question, as you all present, is what are some of the characteristics you think of when you think of mom? What are some of the characteristics you think of when you think of mom? Again, feel free to comment. Feel free to unmute yourself and jump in and share.
Selfless.
Superstar. My mom's a superstar. Hi, Margaret. Love you. Like Paul said, selfless, courageous, unconditional love. I'll stop there because you said keep it brief, but there's so much more.
Encourager. A mother always encourages you to succeed.
Warrior.
Our good friend Bentley has commented online. She said, a servant's heart, kind and gentle. Hey, Bentley, miss you. Hope you guys are doing well.
I think of a monkey, Proverbs 1 of a verse woman.
Say that one more time. That came in broken up.
I think of moms like of Proverbs 31, a virtuous woman.
I think I'm going to change the pattern of adjectives here. I feel like a great mom is someone who feeds you in many ways, though, right? Good food, your favorite snacks when you come to visit again, just warm and welcoming, showing you love no matter what. Feeds the soul.
I love it. Let's keep it going. This is good.
Steadfast gatekeeper.
I know I said be brief, but unpack that a little bit, man, because that's good. And yeah.
I don't know if he heard you, because I'd like him to unpack that too, because that sounds great.
Yeah, Steve, you there, buddy?
I am here.
Okay. I liked what you said. Can you unpack that a tiny bit? I know I said be brief, but that was good. Steadfast gatekeeper. Talk to me, man. That was awesome. Again, you're preaching today.
Mom was always there. Protector, gatekeeper. Many of you know we have a super large family, and sometimes in retrospect, you wonder how it got done. But I think in the end, we all know how it gets done. Because we have a steadfast gatekeeper God. And those qualities that come from God come to us oftentimes first through our mothers.
Wow. Amen.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share? I see, Brian, you just joined. Just so you know, the question is, what are some of the characteristics that you think of when you think of mom?
Definitely unconditional love. And because the things that I know I put my mom through at times and how she still loves me is an example of how God loves me. I mean, it's amazing when I think about my mom and all the things she's done for me, and how mother my girls is, and how, when you think about how moms do. So I don't think I can put it into words how amazing moms are and how they make us feel and how they take care of us. And in those times of being sick, and they're there by our sides every moment. And my dad is the coolest guy in the world, and I love my dad so much. But that unconditional love for what my mom has done for me is absolutely amazing. So I couldn't put it into words how amazing moms are.
I think you just did. That sounded awesome.
Well, thank you, and thank you for all that your moms do.
Amen. I'll add, my mom is my best friend. And you don't choose family, but I thank God that God gave me her.
I've got two. Confidant. My mother was always my confidant, right? And the old saying, right behind every good man, there's a good woman. I think that applies to moms as well. I don't think that's just a spouse thing. I don't think that I would be the man that I am had she not been that confidant, the person I could go to about anything. And so, thank you for that, Mom. The other thing is a can-do kind of mindset, willingness to take on whatever comes along. And actually, when Melissa and I got together, she went from having two children, young children, in it was just the three of them, to suddenly having 5 children, one of whom was a teenager, and the other was on the cusp of becoming a teenager. And the difficulty in that, walking that line of nurturing and caring, and yet being also a little bit of their punching bag, because they were looking for someone to lash out at. And so she took all of that on. And then not a year later, there was a 6th child to deal with. So within a year to go from 2 to 6, 3 of which are not biologically yours, and yet you've been tasked with taking care of them and raising them and fighting through, taking the abuse. So just a can-do kind of attitude. So.
A few of you have been awfully quiet, and I know for a fact every one of you has had a mom. So
I'll have to say something very special about my mom. Like Steve said, we come from a large family. But she didn't group us all together in one personality type. She understood the differences of one's strength and other's weakness, and the best that she could, she would support decisions like in school and just what you planned on doing with the rest of your life. And believe it or not, my mama asked each one of us to wait till we were 28 years old to get married. That's 17 times. I said, "Were you nuts?" But I love her. I miss her. And my girl and tea with grandma, and they each got a special teacup that they shared with her for them to share with their children. So she could balance the national debt tomorrow if they let her. What she did with the meager means that she had, with my dad working 3 jobs, was amazing. We never were without. She would always say, like a little bit of guilt. You don't have everything that you want, but we had everything that we needed. Not only the surprise and the expectations of a holiday and what family was and sitting down together, and Christmas was a magical time. Going on vacations, upstate New York to my aunt's house, along the road, stopping and eating the chicken that she made at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning for the journey for that day for everybody. And one time we had gone into like a family style restaurant. My dad said, there were 8 of us, including my mom and dad. It doesn't matter what you order, as long as you eat it all. And when we walked in, they turned around and they said, "Boy, it's really nice you brought your Sunday school class here." So that was cute. That was cute. But fond memories, good times, stopping on the side of the road, in an old jalopy of a station wagon that we didn't know if we were going to make it or not, but the time of our lives. So it doesn't matter how much is there, it's what is involved that you put into it. So I love them dearly. I miss them, but they lived to their 90s and they had a good retirement. So that's my mom and my dad.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like that. You have all fond memories, and look. Let's be honest, right? We all of us, whether we've had epically great moms or maybe we've had bad experiences with moms, right? I can't speak for everybody here. Um, there's still redeeming qualities, right? And so what I would say is, thanks for sharing that, and that's powerful and that's incredible. And some of you might be sitting there thinking, well, gee, I don't want to publicly bash mom, right? So don't. You know what? Moms are imperfect human beings, just like you and I. And I'm going to assume they did the best they had with the resources that they had. And so even within that, we're all made in God's image, and we all have redeeming qualities. Even the worst of us, in our worst moments, have redeeming qualities, and so that's what I'm looking to focus on. So maybe we'll take just 1 or 2 more minutes tops and see what are some more characteristics that we see in moms.
Wisdom, sacrifice, reason cook.
Hey, not all moms can cook.
Yes, they can, even when they do love.
Is that the secret ingredient? All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice?
Yeah, I would say, when I think of my mom, I think of someone that, I could always talk to, my mom would always give me the time of day, so many times where something was going on in my life, I just needed to talk to her. She always would just sit down and make a cup of coffee, and we would talk about anything and everything. So I would honestly say that my mom was always there for me, always to lend a hand in any way that she could, always to just sit and listen, She was just really good like that. And of course, the food is always phenomenal too. So, growing up in an Italian house, it was good. It was really good.
It's so sad. This is all that we talk about is food. It's crazy. Oh man, that's good. That's good. Well, so what I would add is, there's a lot of characteristics that we went over here, and I'm just going to kind of recap quickly. So we got selfless, superstar, courageous, unconditional love, encourager, warrior, servant's heart, kind, gentle, virtuous, someone who feeds you in every way. Thank you, Melissa. Yes, steadfast gatekeeper. Thanks, Steve. What a wise compound word to put together. A protector, always there. An example of God's love. A caretaker, a best friend, a confidant. Willingness to take on whatever comes along, right? No matter what it is. When you think of the worst of humanity, right? Hitler had a mom. Right? The worst people you could think of still found unconditional love and care from someone in their life, right? Wisdom and sacrifice, individual care, right, Bunny? Individual care. It's not, moms create IEPs for each of their children. It's not just some overall covering that's generic, but moms individually and customizedly deeply care for their kids. They're supportive. They make sacrifices, and of course, they cook. They cook. Well, with all these characteristics, it seems like moms wear a lot of hats. Moms are the ultimate multitaskers, and they walk a balance of maintaining all these characteristics. Now, think about this. They're cooking, they're disciplining, they're counseling, their care, their love, their willingness to sacrifice, all the characteristics at the same time are embodied in this one person who is multitasking, especially with this pandemic. They're doing homework at home with the kids and trying not to kill them, and then showing them love and affection, and while showing them discipline and teaching them. And moms wear all these hats, and it all has to flow into all these characteristics in this one consistent, kind, and caring person who makes sacrifices for her family every day. Well, mom has a lot of titles, so check this out. Moms truly embody all of these titles, and they do it 24/7, 365 days a year. But instead of just keeping this celebration of moms generic, we're going to take a couple of moments now and we're going to celebrate moms by this. I want you to tell a story. Tell a brief story about your mom that stood out to you. A brief story about your mom that stood out to you. And if you've got a Rolodex of them, whichever that first one was that popped up in your mind, try to come up with a way to briefly share that story. Guys, this could be about your wives who are momming as well, just so you know.
So my mom, I guess let's start with my daughter. My daughter was in a really bad car accident. And my mom, I was able to stay by her side in the whole time we were in the hospital. I don't know if it was a month. I don't remember how long it was. Because of my mom, I knew there was nothing else I had to worry about because she was there for me for everything, whether anything. I had no cares besides being next to my daughter. And who can say that, that how can you not work or pay your bills or do anything? You know what I mean? Like usually you have to leave, but somehow she made it work where I did not have to leave Amanda's side the entire time. She went through all of her operations, and I can't thank her enough for that, because I would be in a straitjacket if I would have had to have left my daughter. So I thank you, Mom, for that. I love you.
A story about my mom is that growing up, I always saw her not really get into the word, but she's a prayer warrior. My mom was spend hours praying, always had faith, I mean, growing up when there was no health insurance and we were sick or there was anything, my mom always relied on God and she was always praying for everyone. I remember people always calling her for prayer. My mom was an amazing woman of God, true testament to what Christian women do.
I just want to add to that real quick. My story of my mom, she's still there like that for me. My mother's still there. I don't know how moms do it, but it's incredible. And I thank God for moms, and especially mine.
I had the wonderful opportunity in my mother's dying days, and actually my father and she, I don't know, I had the wonderful blessing of being able to care for them on a day-by-day basis, and also presented an opportunity for me to also join in or have Tom join in with us for years. I don't even know how many years it was. Not important. But my mother was just the greatest because there was a lot of, with a large family, you have a lot of different opinions on care and what to do and when to do it and how to do it and all kinds of things. And I really appreciated my mother just, she was so trusting that she could tell me, well, they don't want me to have this, but I want you to get it for me. They don't want me to do that, but I want you to do that for me. And it was just like this unconditional and unquestioning love that opened things up. And in her very last days, I sort of got shuffled out of the picture, and I would come visit her. And one of the things towards the end was that she became very sensitive to touch. And as soon as I walked in the door, I would have several people say to me, "Now don't touch your mother. Now don't touch your mother." And it would amaze me that she'd be kind of sitting there or laying there in bed out of it for the most part. And all I had to do was touch the back of her hand. Without opening her eyes, she would say, "Hello, Steve, I love you." And it was just one of those amazing, poignant things that, that connection was there, and she may or may not have been in her right mind, but it was there. It was pretty awesome and pretty incredible. I couldn't imagine going without touching my mother. After all those decades of hugs and kisses and care and all that stuff, not touching my mother was not in my purview. And I don't think I hurt her.
All right. Well, I'll break the silence because it's what I do. So, I'll tell you a brief story, and I'll try to keep it brief. But those of you that are regulars at Park Center know how hard that is for me to do. I've been good lately, though. I have. I remember I was a kid, and many of you have met Vinny Tamburello, who comes to Park Center when he can. And so Vinny and I grew up together. We're friends from kindergarten. And we would have hangouts where he would stay over for like a weekend, and we loved playing video games. And I don't remember how old we were, but we were kids. We weren't even preteens. We were like little kids. And at the time, there was no streaming. You had to go to Blockbuster to get a game or a video or whatever. And it was like an experience because you didn't just actually go to rent a couple of video games. You stacked up on sugar. You made sure you got diabetes before the weekend was over, right? And so I remember we asked earlier in the day if my mom could take us, and she said yes, but she was busy at the time. And then it was like, I don't know, maybe a half hour or an hour before they were going to close. It was late at night, And that's when I was like, Mom, remember you said? And meanwhile, she's like, she's tired, and like ready to go to bed. And I remember, I probably should have got slapped in the face for how much I begged and nagged. But she said, you know what? And I still remember this. I remember her saying, you know what? I did tell you that I would take you. And although I'm tired and don't feel like going, integrity is important. And so I'm going to keep my word. And I remember that sticking out. Me and Vinny, we thought we pulled one over on her at the time. But then as an adult, you look back and go, you know what? What an important lesson learned, that your word is your bond. Let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. And your integrity comes before your feelings. And what a valuable lesson learned from a real life example. So that was brief, right?
Amen.
I guess this has been on my mind because we had this conversation just the other night at dinner about Gabriella brought up. She asked Lucas if he was blood related to my mother, and so the whole conversation ensued about the way we've always tried to not think of or treat anyone differently because they weren't blood related to another part of the family. And so I have a ton of memories of being a kid, but I think that this one from that time period when Melissa and I first got together kind of encompasses everything that my mother is, and my father as well. But they at the time they had 6 grandchildren, 3 from me, 3 from my brother, and my mother was always she was the go-to grandma. I think you could ask any of the grandchildren. She was the go-to grandma. Showered them with love and gifts and snacks, and they had their little chairs lined up in front of the big screen television at her house, and with their names on them, and it just the whole thing. And they loved sleeping over there and everything, and so Christmas was a bonanza of just gifts and showering love and gifts down on them. And I remember when we got together, Melissa and I, 2 more grandchildren were added to the picture. And I think if you asked any of them since that time, there has never been any kind of difference in how they have loved and treated Lucas and Chloe versus how they have treated their blood grandchildren. Lucas and Chloe were instantly accepted. The same showering of love and affection and gifts, and I think it was like it was kind of a well, what do we call them, kind of thing. And it was, well, that's grandma and that's Poppy, and it just was from the very beginning, just no difference in how they treated and how they loved. And so I think that says pretty much everything. So.
Amen.
That's what family is. That was absolutely beautiful. Very moving. My kids, the 3 girls, will always say, okay, Mom, we know who your favorite is. We all know who your favorite is. So own up to it. I said, I don't have a favorite. So one year for Christmas, I had gotten 3 decorations that I saw to hang on the tree, and I do it every single year. If I don't put up a tree, I'll put it someplace in the house. My favorite oldest, my favorite middle child, and my favorite youngest child. they all had to point out the favorite youngest child, although I have 3 girls and I didn't notice it at the time. The youngest was a boy, but you know, it was the point of the concept. You love them all differently, but they're all individual also. So they still, to this day, will say, "We know who your favorite is."
That's funny.
Yeah.
It reminds me, I saw the other day, and I really thought about getting this. So I'm the second of 2 children, and I saw this mug online the other day, and I really thought about ordering it. It says, you know, "Dear Mom, as the old saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, try again, and love your second child."
I like it. I like to get that for the first, second, and third child. I'll have to look for that. That would be good. Cute.
Well, anybody else want to share a story? It's been awfully quiet. I'm sure you all have a Rolodex of stories, so. Going once, going twice.
I got a quick one.
Yeah, go for it.
This is a quick one about being treated individually by my mom. When it came time to pick Regents classes, I followed Steve. I'm a year behind him. So Steve's IQ is very high. Mine is, you know, normal, but his was extremely high. So I took Regents classes, and within the first 3 weeks of school, I had French, I had science, all Regents classes, and I came home and I was really upset. And my mom says, "What's wrong?" I said, I'm way lost. It's way behind me. I'm overwhelmed. So she said, "Just, you know, if you need me to, I'll contact the school and we'll change your classes." And she was of the mindset that, you know, girls should be secretaries and stuff like that. I loved it to death, but I followed her lead, and I'm kind of like glad because I do excel at what I do. But she knew I was overwhelmed and she backed me. So that was the important thing of being treated individually for what I was capable of. Not saying, "Well, Steve could do it, you could do it." And whenever I had a teacher that he had, the first thing I said was, "I am not my brother." And that's that.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. It's funny, you know, what you described about the story of what you do for your kids sounds exactly like what your mom did for you, you know?
Good example.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone else want to share before I move on? Just want to give everybody an opportunity. About to miss out on that opportunity in 5, 4, 3, 2. Should we like have like an intermission so you guys can go get some coffee or something? Like, you're so quiet today. I don't understand. All right. Well, so I know we only had a few stories to go off of, but you know, Bunny, I really, I'm going to highlight your example because when we share the stories that we've shared this morning, we realize how many times Mom wasn't as stupid as we thought as kids. We see her poise and patience and wisdom. And as we get older, we tend to find ourselves acting more like our moms than we ever thought we would. Right? We swore we would never become our mother. We swore up and down, especially those teenage years, "I'll never be like you." We swore we would never be anything like our mother. But somehow or another, her influence is there in more ways than we ever expected. And in a lot of ways, you are becoming your mom. Check this out.
Hello everyone, welcome to our Becoming Your Mom support group. We have some visitors with us today. Welcome to you. My name is Mark and I'm the group leader. And I think we'll start by reciting our mission statement. We love our moms, but we are not our moms.
We love our moms, but we are not our moms.
Carol, would you mind starting us off this week?
Hi everyone, I'm Carol.
Hi, Carol.
I'm the oldest of 3 roommates and I'm turning into my mom. I clean up everything after them. I've even started doing their laundry.
I talk to myself in the grocery store all the time.
All of my status updates are just pictures of kids. I don't even have kids.
Same. Well, kids and recipes.
The other day, I almost licked my finger and wiped the face of a total stranger.
I keep saying words like garbage and target. What is that?
I'll send a text to someone just to let them know I sent them an email.
Well, how else would they know?
Right?
I mean, these shoes were on sale. What am I supposed to do? Not buy them?
I call my husband my son's name. And sometimes I call my son the dog's name.
I always tell people, I'll be like 2 minutes, then it'll be like an hour.
Whoa, take it easy there. Shannon already has a tissue. We really don't need to offer her one.
I do.
Did you see how they let the momness overtake them? So you may not be able to avoid becoming your mom, but the key is to let the beautiful things about moms shine through in your life. The kindness, the caring, the compassion, the qualities that God gave moms when He created them.
Oh, like when I text my friends, LOL, lots of love.
That's not what LOL means.
That's what my son told me it meant.
LOL, lots of love. What else would it mean?
You know, I used to be an amazing dancer. Now when I dance, people just get embarrassed. Can I show you?
Yeah. No, Carol. Carol, sit down. It's not bad. Carol, please. 1, 2.
Yeah, so mom. Mom is the one who installed that confidence in you or taught you to push through and be great. Maybe you had the mom who believed you were the best even when you weren't. And it made you strive to be the version of yourself your mom saw in you. Who knows? But we find ourselves living life as a reflection of who mom was and what she instilled in us in some way, shape, or form. Right? Obviously, that was a humorous example, but a true one. In many ways, we can emulate our mom. And if we're really honest, in many ways, we do. And so our next question is, what are some character traits that you inherited from your mom? What are some character traits that you inherited from your mom?
The fact that I cry when I try and say something emotional. Thanks, Mom.
One most important trait that I inherited by my mom's example of the true value of family. And to keep, no matter the differences, and sometimes you battle with your siblings and you have disagreements and whatever, but the importance of getting over it and keeping that unified family together is one characteristic that I'm really blessed that I saw her portray. Not to perfection, but it was there.
I'm going to confession, hospitable, and being very OCD.
Who taught you how to make empanadas?
Oh,
that was actually my best friend taught me that. We would, growing up, my mom would cook Portuguese food, and my friend's mom was Puerto Rican, so we would switch dinners every day because I was tired of Portuguese food and my friend was tired of Puerto Rican food. So we always switched foods, and that's how I learned how to make empanadas because I used to love them. But are you trying to give me a hint because you want empanadas, Vincent?
That was about as strong of a hint as I could possibly give, yeah.
You'll be getting this.
I can't eat them right now anyway with my stupid mouth. But anyways, yeah.
So I'm gonna rat her out. My mother just texted me and said, "I knew you were gonna say that." Oh, well, I guess she meant lots of love. Come on, guys. Let's go. I know you all inherited some character traits from your moms, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Rely on God, that I learned from my mom. Always had strong faith. And my mom relied on God everything, 100% of everything in her life. And also, like Bunny said before, a strong sense of family. That we're supposed to be there for each other.
Yeah, we got a comment from Bentley. She said she got her nurturing spirit from her mom, which is awesome. What a compliment, right? What a testimony. So really said, Bentley. Really well said, Bentley. Thank you.
Hey guys, I finally got the audio working on my phone. This is Ron, and give a shout out to my wife of almost 60 years.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've got a 57-year-old son and a 52-year-old son. So I guess I earned it.
Yes.
60 years. My wife is an amazing person. She's in the next room. She probably is in tears right now, listening to her son. There are so many stories of having our children grow up and the things that we did, the places that we lived in, and a lot of things that Paul had said about the kids sitting in front of the TV with their little chairs and sitting in front of the fireplace and watching the fire for an hour.
Yep.
It was like TV. Fortunately, my wife is a very good cook, or used to be a very good cook. Love her dearly, but shout out to my wonderful daughters-in-law, Melissa and Eileen, who are just wonderful people, and I couldn't ask for more. Love you all.
So if I could just comment on one thing he said, the whole being a good cook, or at least used to be, I think it's not a lack of skill, it's a lack of inspiration.
Desire.
Yeah, desire at this point. It's certainly not a lack of skill. I think
no, not at all.
If she chose to continue to cook, she could certainly do it. But the takeout menu is a lot easier.
We've been very, very fortunate in this pandemic to have, wonderful people, my children and other friends who have taken care of us. And I don't know that we deserve it. To be honest with you, it's been an experience that I don't want to go through again. I want this to be over, and I do have one comment about my mom, who was really a very special person. She loved her grandchildren so dearly, and she fought cancer until the actual day that she died. she never gave up.
Yeah, it's true. She never did. Actually, she fought for. I think it was a full year. And at the time, my sister-in-law Eileen was pregnant with what would be her first great grandchild, and I think that gave her the impetus to fight. She wanted to see that baby, and she did. She got to see him, and I guess it was another year and a half or so after he was born. So she got to really spend some time with him, but she fought. She wanted to see that baby. That was the thing that we used to whisper in her ear in the hospital. You're going to see this baby. You're going to make it to see this baby. And she fought hard, and she did. My dad talked about watching the fireplace. We had a great fireplace in the house I grew up in, and I can remember. I don't remember exactly what year it was. Maybe it was 78, the blizzard of 78, the ice storm of 78, I think it was, where the electricity was out for several days, and it was bitterly cold. And I remember us moving the couch in front of the fireplace, facing the fireplace, maybe like 3 feet away. And the four of us, my mom, my dad, my brother, and me, sitting on the couch, watching the fire. As my dad said, just for hours, because there was nothing else to do. It was dark, and cold, and we just sat there and watched the fire. So that's
and putting a blanket up on the entrance between the den and the thing,
and the rest of the house,
keep the heat into that room.
Yeah. Eventually, it got too cold.
Every place else.
We went to my grandmother's, right? Didn't we go to Nan's and Bayside?
Yep. All these great experiences are, you look back at them and say, hey, that's 45 years ago, 40 years ago. It's amazing.
And we made it through.
We made it through. Amen. Yep.
We cooked when we lost the power in the house. We did the same thing with the blanket on the doorway, and everybody was all packed in the living room and cooked in there. Cooked hot dogs and beans on the fire in the fireplace. It was just
bodies in the house to create body to have body heat warmth.
Yes.
Eventually, we had an outdoor barbecue that was hooked up to the house gas, and we barbecued in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It was gas barbecue, and we went out and barbecued in the wintertime. It was amazing. But no, moms are great. All the ladies are great. Bunny, I see you, and I wish you a happy Mother's Day, and all the other ladies that are here online and those that can't be. It's just great to get together. I don't participate much in getting involved with the church, but I'm here, and and we're having fun, and we're doing good things, and that's it. We keep on doing good things and having good people, and getting better and better.
Yeah. Amen. Agreed.
I love hearing your voice, Ron. We got to fix your camera so I can see your face, but
maybe not.
Oh, come on. So Ron,
Terry's on Facebook. She's not on Zoom, so she doesn't. She sees what we see, but that's about it. She doesn't. She doesn't do anything else with it.
All right, then I'm going to ask you to answer for her and one for you. If you can give me what are a couple of character traits you inherited from your mom, and what's one that Terry inherited from her mom?
Well, Terry didn't inherit her cooking skills from her mother. She learned that on her own, or from her grandmother and aunts. I don't know what else she could have inherited from her mother. She had a a great upbringing with her grandmother and grandfather. You know, her mother was divorced when she was very young, and it was a difficult time. And then when she remarried, we had a great relationship with her mother and father and her stepfather, which we call her father. And that was a good thing. My mother, you know, we grew up. You know, I was born just before the Second World War. We grew up in a house that had no hot water and no heat. So it was an interesting time. Hello. Oh, there she is. I'm here. It was an interesting time, you know, during the early 40s, mid 40s. And again, going to bed in the wintertime was interesting because we had no heat. You'd put your pillow in the oven to warm it up, and then run like the blazes into bed and get underneath the big feather bed, maybe with a hot water bottle at your feet. And that was it. That was winter. But that was normal.
Right.
I mean, this is the way it was. We didn't, you know, say we're lacking or you know, we're underprivileged because of that. This is the way it was. You know,
What did you inherit from your mother?
what did I inherit from my mother? I don't know what I inherited from my mother, but you know, she only had good things to pass along. So whatever I am, I'm a product of my mother and my father and my wife.
Yeah, we were married so young. I think we grew up together. So
They raised each other.
we had, yeah, I think that we probably had a great influence on each other's upbringing because I was 16, he was 20. So I think we grew up together.
Now you're giving away our ages.
I know, but like they didn't know. But I think that's what. So I think you inherit a lot, also from your parents, but you learn a lot from your spouse, and you teach each other. You teach each other a lot. Probably from my mother, I probably inherited. I would say.
Not too much, please.
Yeah. Probably generosity. She was a very generous person. But also from my father. Well, I say my father's. My stepfather was my father, and he was exceptionally generous. He believed that your children were linked to you, that I was always his child. He never considered me a stepchild or I was always his. And he treated me that way. And he was exceptionally generous. He did not believe he kind of believed in pass it on. His favorite expression was, what you do for your children, you don't expect to be repaid. You mark it on the ice, he would say. And so when the ice melts, it's gone.
Right. Wow.
So
Great. Love it.
I would agree with that. I would echo that if I could speak for them. I think that my mother, you know, I talked about her grandchildren lined up in front of the television with the snacks flowing, and my grandmother was the same way. Her mother was the same way. I think she learned that from her mother. And then my dad, I mean, my grandmother was a doer. She was a worker. She was always at it, up early in the morning and cleaning the house and always doing. And I think my dad is the same way. 80 years old, the man has 2 jobs. So I think that work ethic and that do came from my grandmother. So if I could add that in for them, I think those are the things that the most obvious traits they got from them. I gotta turn that off.
Awesome. Vin, are you unmuted because you're going to share?
Yeah. Well, I would say some of the characteristics I got from my mom. Well, some of you notice and some of you don't. So I'm Italian and Hungarian. So my the Jewishness of my side I got from my mom from her mother. So, and you know, looking at that, it's like you know, a lot of my ministry that we have, I have a real love for, you know, for Torah and all that kind of stuff, and for the, you know, a lot of the Jewishness and stuff like that. So I think some of that came from my mom's mom, which of course was given to my mother, you know, and I don't know, I would say a lot of my mom, straight from my mom's characteristics, I would say the fact that she just loves to serve, you know, she really does. Any way that she can, you know. She worked alongside my father in ministry. Anytime that there was something going on, she was there with him, you know. And my mom would go down to Lighthouse Mission when we were allowed to go and do this before the coronavirus. And my mom would go down there and she would serve. She would serve alongside Pastor Jim and my mom's friend Joy, and they would serve all the children. You know, she always had that kind of servant, you know, attitude. You know, she always wanted to be out there serving, doing, traveling, and I think I would have inherited some of that from my mom. You know, she loved being in ministry. She loved the travel. Obviously, she can't do much of it now because of what's going on, but I would say I got some of that from her. The fact that she's very, very organized and very clean. And I say clean with a capital C, man, because the house is always spotless, always clean. And I think a lot of that got passed on to me, even so much that I'm even OCD about it. You know, I like everything very clean, very tidy, very organized. And my mother was that way. I just didn't understand what OCD was at, you know, 10 years old. They didn't talk about that kind of thing. But growing up in the kind of house that I did was a very loving, nurturing house. But my mom was always making sure that everyone was doing what they're supposed to be doing, keeping the house clean, keeping order in the house. And I think a lot of those traits got passed down to me. So if I had to say anything that I inherited from my mom, it was probably going to be those things, you know. And the fact that, you know, being Italian, so that always makes it so much better.
I love you, man. You're funny.
I love you too, brother. I love being Italian and Hungarian, even though I don't know much about it, but I'm learning.
Well, I thought being hungry all the time is a part of being Italian. Never mind. Sorry, bad joke. Anyway, so
that's true. I appreciate that.
Anybody else want to share before we move on? What are just real quick? What are some character traits you inherited from your mom? Anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, as adults, we tend to see these character traits that we talked about here and ones that we see in our own lives, and we look back at our childhood or our younger years, and we think back on how mom instilled these character traits in us. In her little ninja ways, right? Sometimes she would instill these character traits in us in ways we didn't even realize that that's what was going on. You know, more is caught than taught, right? Mom modeled it. Mom showed it. Mom taught us. Mom had the conversations with us. Mom would hold her ground. And sometimes mom wouldn't hold her ground because her grace would outdo her discipline and her justice. And sometimes we thought we were pulling one over on her, but really she was pulling a warm blanket of love over on us with grace that we didn't understand, right? As adults, we tend to see these character traits, and then when we look back at our childhood, we look back at our younger years, we see how mom did that. But even as adults now, we may find ourselves still in need of mom, maybe just in a different way. Or for some of us, maybe not so much in a different way, maybe in the same way. So check this out.
Well, it's finally happened. You've moved out. You're on your own. Congratulations. But everyone still needs a little help sometimes.
Mom, have you seen my wallet?
It's in your back pocket.
No, I checked there.
Your other back pocket, dear.
Thanks, Mom.
Introducing the Mom Personal Assistant, the only smart speaker device with all the wisdom, caring, and sage advice of a mother.
Mom, please call Brad.
Honey, I'm just not sure he's right for you.
Just call him.
Okay, calling Ryan.
No, Mom, I said call Brad.
Trust me.
The Mom PA always has your best interests in mind.
Wish me luck, Mom. Big interview today.
Did you eat breakfast? Is that what you're wearing?
Wait, what?
Did you even shower?
She's there to provide a helping hand whenever you need it.
Mom, set a timer for 40 minutes. Mom?
The Mom Personal Assistant won't function until you say the magic word.
Oh, right. Mom, please set a timer for 40 minutes.
Sure thing, hon, but it's only 30 minutes for that dish.
The Mom PA is always correct and basically knows everything.
Mom, what setting should I use for this laundry?
Mom, do you think I should color my hair?
Hey, Mom, can you please order mac and cheese?
You still have 2 boxes.
What? No, we're out.
Did you look?
Yeah, I just looked. It's gone.
Do you want me to look?
No, it's okay. I'll go look again.
Try looking with your eyes this time.
Based on God's perfect design, the Mom Personal Assistant is thoughtful, kind, encouraging, and supportive.
You are beautiful. It's okay. You're gonna get through this. I am so proud of you. You can change the world. But right now, hon, you really need to change your socks because they smell like a dumpster.
Mom.
The Mom Personal Assistant. Always helpful, always reliable, and always there for you.
Yeah, we still need mom as adults. For some of us, maybe mom isn't there anymore or can't be. It's important to have spiritual moms in our lives too. Even if mom isn't necessarily that biological person that birthed you who could still be in your life, or maybe they're still alive, but maybe there's been relational tension, right? Maybe they just don't have that place in your life that they had once before. Remember, we're all imperfect here. We're all humans. But it's important either way to still have spiritual moms in your lives. Wise, godly women who we can go to who will gently serve with the same characteristics of our earthly moms. It's important you always have someone like this in your life for so many reasons. You need to have someone who you could submit yourself to. Spiritual parents who are wiser and have done this Christianity thing longer than you to help you grow. Who knows? Maybe you'll naturally find yourself looking a little bit more like them as well and catching some of their character traits too, not just your earthly moms. So our last and final question is, so who is someone who you have as a spiritual mom, and how have they helped shape who you are? Who is someone you have as a spiritual mom? Maybe this person has played this role in your life already for a while and you just never realized it, right? Or you specifically do already know who this person is, who is a spiritual mom in your life, and how have they helped shape who you are today?
My sister Patty and my younger sister Sandy were the first saved in our family. So they were called, their duo team was called the Alpha and the Omega, and everybody in between didn't have a chance, didn't have a choice. They were all going to get saved. And my sister Patty, definitely my spiritual mom. She was there time and time again, not only for me, but for many. And it's very hard because I lost her. She's in heaven with her husband. There's no doubt she's rejoicing and dancing and rejoicing. But I miss her dearly because we could just shout it out to each other, just call each other and be real and just say, all right, so, yes, you love God, you love Jesus, but what's really going on? Let's make this a real thing. It's the only way we could grow, get past this, or find a different way that God's leading us to. And I just love her and miss her so much. Definitely my spiritual mom. And I told Angel the first day I met her, I said, you are exactly like my sister Patty. You're like a spiritual mom. Love you guys.
So, if I had to answer this question, I would say 2 women come to mind. My friend Roz, she's absolutely wonderful, very spiritual, and my friend Deborah, she's a pastor out in Bayshore. She's a pastor out in Bayshore, Love and Mercy Fellowship. Paul, you guys might have heard of her. I'm not really sure, but I've known the 2 of them for a long, long time, and whenever I have any questions or I'm going through something, those are 2 women that I turn to. They know my personality very well. They both know me very well, and if I need some encouragement or I need someone to put a smile on my face, usually I'll call my friend Roz. She just has a way of just making me laugh at myself and put a smile on my face rather quickly. I mean, if this woman could create a job at putting smile on faces and get paid for it, it would be her. You could put this woman in any situation. You could put her in the middle of a hospital and just move her around and bring it to people who are dying, and she would just go and just be such a comfort to them and talk to them and just sit in the room. I mean, you can't help but just smile and just enjoy her company. And she's just so full of wisdom, and she's a great godly woman. And whenever I need encouragement or I'm down, I usually call her up. I got to make sure that it's at the right time because she's out in California now, though. And like I said before, my friend Pastor Deborah Mitchell, just so full of wisdom, just a enormous heart that this woman has. Anytime that I need anything, or I can always just call her up. She's very spiritual. She's been to Israel many times. She knows the Bible really well. And so her and I connect on so many different levels. And I'm just very thankful for those 2 wonderful women. I really am.
Awesome, and what a testimony! What a testimony! I hope that they know that they play that role in your life, and that they're honored today. Awesome, man. Anyone else?
Hopefully one day you could meet both of them, Ben.
I think I've met one of them, and not Roz, the other one.
Deborah Mitchell?
Yeah.
She's awesome. I love her. I've actually preached in her church before.
Oh, nice.
Before the coronavirus.
Wow. Yeah. Anyone else want to share? I'll add while all of you were thinking through on how to share. If when you look at this question that says who is someone you have as a spiritual mom, if somebody doesn't come to mind, this is a challenge I'm going to put to you is find that person. We say all the time, church is not like a family, church is a family. right? And although we see a biblical model for male eldership in that sense of leadership, yeah, okay. In my house, my kids understand, daddy's role is the leader, but um, without a mom, they'd be jacked up. Okay, and so same thing in the church. There's motherly roles that are super important, and we see kind of these church culture wars. Churches who are like, yeah, women should be the lead pastors, and then churches where, well, women shouldn't be in ministry at all, and then they kind of like, like basically you go teach the kids, and that's all you can do in church. And I think both of those are wrong extremes. Um, Church isn't like a family. Church is a family. And just like in our family, God has made the man the priest of his home, but God also formed Eve to be Adam's helpmate. And God didn't form Eve from Adam's head to rule over him or from his feet to be ruled by him, but from his side to rule with him. And likewise, women play a pivotal spiritual role in the church, a very important one. And so, no matter what your theological perspective is on that, the real nitty gritty, the practical here, is if you don't have a spiritual mom in your life administering gentle, motherly like spiritual care, you are missing out. You're missing out, and it's going to jack up your spiritual life in some ways. Just because God describes himself as God the Father, that doesn't mean that God doesn't have feminine qualities. Now, this is not a gender thing, please. I'm not going deep into this. All I'm saying is, in Scripture, God uses masculinity to identify himself, but that doesn't mean that God is only masculine. There are feminine qualities that have nothing to do with gender or sex, but have to do with motherly care that God has instilled in women, that God cares for his children in that way. So I challenge you, if you don't have a spiritual mom in your life, find one and let them invest in you and let them know you see them that way and you're asking for that kind of care. To be unclear is to be unkind. Don't make people wonder, but be proactive in this. So that's my challenge to you. Anybody else want to share somebody who you already have a spiritual mom and how they've helped you be shaped into who you are today? If not, I'll just move on. I don't know if everybody's being shy or you guys are super quiet today. I thought today would have been easier for you to share than usual. Usually it's more like a theological thing. Today it's kind of we're just celebrating mom, you know? Does everybody here have mommy issues? All right. Well, I'm going to move on. So we all have that mom or those moms in our lives who are to be celebrated and honored. And so what do? We set aside one day a year to do this every single year, right? We set aside this one day called Mother's Day every single year. Well, 2020, good old 2020 has already been a different kind of year so far, right? We went from the best economy in the history of our nation, turned into the worst one overnight. We had a strange virus and an even stranger response to it show up almost overnight. We've now got murder hornets added to the mix, a snowstorm in May, and God only knows what other crazy things that we should expect in 2020. Well, we're going to do a little something different in 2020 for Mother's Day as well here at Park Center Community Church. So check this out. And I want you to take the challenge with the rest of us here at Park Center Community Church as you check out this video.
Today is Mother's Day.
Today
is Mother's Day.
it's a day to honor
The most important women in our lives.
To thank them for all their support, all their love.
driving me to all my sports and paying for all of them,
My mom does my laundry, which is helpful because I don't even know how to do it.
taking me to find my prom dress, which took a long time because I'm very picky.
My mom feeds me. That's key.
We all want to find a great gift and find
The perfect card for mom. Has curvy handwriting. But how do you give a gift that expresses everything that a mother really means to you?
It's hard to find a card that says everything that you want to say. I mean, you'll pick one up and it'll say good things at first, but then you'll be like, oh, that line doesn't even apply to our relationship.
This year, maybe we should try something different.
What if we gave Mother's Day as a gift for the next 365 days?
Not just one day, but every day this year.
Showing the love and support that our mothers deserve.
We could say thank you more often, let her relax when she needs to.
Making one of those little books like you did in elementary school with all of the, this coupon is good for one free back rub.
Noticing things that need to be done without her telling me to do them.
Surprising her with gifts and flowers just at random times.
Keeping the bathroom clean.
Giving her shoulder rubs and maybe buying her some new t-shirts.
Mother's Day, 365 days.
365 days.
I think she's earned it.
And also today, a massage or something shiny that wouldn't hurt either.
I love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
What can we do? I mean, most of us are, well, everyone on here, we're adults now. We don't necessarily live with our mom, but how can we honor our mom every day of the year rather than just one day of the year? How can we make it a Happy Mother's Year? And especially, I think, in this crazy time that's going on, just be present for all that she has done. Be there for her. A phone call. I don't know, like the folks in the video were very young and they're talking about keeping the bathroom clean and all that. Go over to your mom's house, clean. You don't have to live with her at this point to honor her. And there are ways to do that. So every day, I challenge you guys every day, for those of you whose moms are still here, or maybe guys, it's your spouse, the mom who's raising your children or raised your children. Find a way to honor them every day in some way, whether it's just being present, listening, doing whatever it takes. Right? Happy Mother's Year. LOL, everyone. Love you lots. Lots of love.